Have you ever been cruising down a pitch-black highway in the dead of night? The only light coming from your dashboard glow, and the occasional flicker of distant stars. When a shape materializes in your rearview mirror, something that looks human, but moves all wrong. Inching closer, no matter how fast you accelerate. That's the kind of bone-chilling nightmare we're unpacking tonight, folks. With 3 very creepy true night drive horror stories that have been sent my way through emails, late-night DMs, and even a few whispered voice recordings on my channel. These aren't campfire yarns spun for fun. They're raw accounts from ordinary people who thought a simple drive would be routine, only to brush against something inexplicable and terrifying. I've verified what I could cross-check details with news clippings and online forums where similar whispers pop up, but honestly, recounting them still makes my skin crawl, like I'm reliving their panic through the wheel. Our first tale comes from a trucker named Jack, who shared this back in 2021 after a run through the Nevada desert. Jack was no stranger to long hauls. He'd been driving semis for over a decade, pounding miles across empty stretches where the road seems to swallow everything but the hum of your engine and the static crackle of AM radio. That night, he was hauling freight from Vegas to Reno, the kind of route where you pass ghost towns and abandoned mines, the air dry and laced with the faint scent of sagebrush. It was around 2 a.m., the moon a sliver overhead, casting long shadows over the cracked asphalt, when his CB radio picked up a faint signal garbled at first, like someone murmuring through wind. Help. Stuck. Mile marker 47. The voice said, a woman's tone, shaky and desperate. Jack figured it was a stranded motorist. Happens all the time out there. Folks running out of gas or blowing a tire in the middle of nowhere. He keyed his mic. This is Big Blue. What's your situation? No response, just static that hissed like breath. He scanned the road ahead, his high beams cutting through the darkness, illuminating tumbleweeds skittering like live things. At mile marker 47, sure enough, there was a car pulled off to the shoulder, an old sedan hood up, hazard lights flashing weakly. Jack eased his rig to a stop, the brakes sighing as he grabbed his flashlight and toolkit. The night air hitting him cool and silent. No crickets, no wind, just the tick of his cooling engine. He approached, boots crunching on gravel, calling out, "Ma'am, you need a hand." The driver's door was ajar, but the car was empty, seats worn, a half-eaten sandwich on the dash smelling faintly of mustard, steam still rising from the engine like it just overheated. Odd, he thought, shining his light around, no footprints leading away, just the vast desert stretching into blackness. That's when he heard it again, the voice. Closer now, help me. Coming from behind him. He whirled, beam catching a figure standing, maybe 20 feet back, a woman in a white dress, hair matted, arms hanging limp. Her face was pale, eyes shadowed, and she didn't move, just stared. Jack's heart skipped. He yelled, "Hey, you okay?" But she only repeated, "Stuck," in that same flat tone. He stepped toward her, offering a hand. But as he got closer, something felt wrong. The air grew colder, his breath fogging despite the desert warmth, and her dress. It looked outdated, like from the 70s, frayed and dirt-streaked. When he was arm's length away, she lunged not aggressively, but desperately, her hand grabbing his wrist, icy cold, fingers digging in like claws. "Take me home," she whispered, her breath reeking of decay, and in that moment, Jack saw it. Her eyes weren't shadowed, They were empty sockets, black voids staring back. He yanked free, stumbling toward his truck, the flashlight beam jittering as he ran. Behind him, her voice echoed, multiplying like there were more of her. Help. Stuck. He slammed into the cab, fired up the engine with shaking hands, the diesel roar drowning out the cries. As he peeled out, gravel spraying. He glanced in the side mirror, and there she was, standing in the road, unbeaten, until his light swept over her, and she just dissolved into the night like mist. Jack didn't stop until Reno, hands white knuckled on the wheel, radio silent the whole way. Later, he looked it up at a diner, nursing black coffee that tasted bitter on his tongue. Turns out, back in 1974, a woman vanished near that marker after her car. Broke down search parties, found the vehicle, food untouched, but no body, no tracks. Jack quit trucking soon, after says he still hears that voice on windy nights, whispering through his vents. Folks, if you're out there driving alone, maybe think twice before stopping some pleas, for help aren't from the living. Shifting lanes to our second story, this one's from a young mom named Lisa, who reached out last year after a late-night drive home from her sister's place in rural Pennsylvania. Lisa was in her mid-30s, a single parent juggling 2 jobs, so when her sister invited her for a weekend barbecue in the Poconos, she jumped at it. Grilled burgers, smelling of charcoal, kids laughing in the yard, the kind of normalcy she craved. But come Sunday night, she had to head back for work, bundling her sleeping 5-year-old, Tommy, into the back seat of her old Honda, the car packed with leftover potato salad and a faint whiff of sunscreen. It was about 10 p.m. when she hit the road, the 2-lane highway wending through dense forests where trees arched overhead like a tunnel, leaves rustling in the breeze. Her headlights pierced the dark, radio tuned low to some soft rock station to keep Tommy dozing, the dashboard clock ticking past miles. At first, it was peaceful, the hum of tires on pavement, the occasional glow of oncoming cars passing with a whoosh. But around midnight, as she entered a stretch with no houses, no exits for miles, she noticed lights in her rearview, high beams, bright and glaring, from a truck that seemed to appear out of nowhere. It tailgated close, blinding her mirrors, engine revving like a growl. Lisa muttered under her breath, "Back off, buddy," and sped up a bit, but the truck matched her, bumping her rear once metal screeching lightly, jolting Tommy awake with a whimper. "Mummy," he called, voice sleepy and scared. "It's okay, sweetie, just a rude driver," she said, forcing calm, but her palms sweated on the wheel. She tried signaling to pass, but the road was too narrow, curves too sharp. The truck honked along, blaring blast that echoed through the woods, then flashed its lights erratically, like Morse code. Panic rising, Lisa grabbed her phone, no signal bars glowing mockingly. "Hold on, Tommy," she whispered, accelerating around the bend, but the truck surged, ramming harder this time, her car fishtailing on loose gravel. In the mirror, she caught a glimpse of the driver's wide-brimmed hat, face obscured, but something about the way he leaned forward, almost eagerly, sent chills down her spine. Tommy cried now, clutching his stuffed bear, the air thick with fear and the metallic tang of adrenaline. Miles dragged, she weaved, hunked her own horn desperately, but no other cars appeared. Then, ahead, a pull off a scenic overlook she remembered from daytime drives. She swerved into it, tires screeching, heart pounding as the truck roared past, but slowed, reversing back. Lisa locked doors, huddled with Tommy, whispering prayers as the truck idled. Lights bathing them in harsh light. Clutching closer. Please, go away, she sobbed quietly. The figure approached the window, knuckles rapping glass tap, tap, tap like a code. Through the tint, she saw it not a face, but a mask, crude and painted like a clown, eyes hollow. Open up. A voice rasped, muffled, deep. Tommy screamed. Lisa floored the gas, peeling out backward, clipping the truck's bumper with a grind of metal. She spun onto the road, racing the opposite way. Wrong direction, but desperate. The truck pursued, but as sirens wailed in the distance, maybe a coincidence? Maybe fate it veered off into the woods, crashing through underbrush like it vanished. Lisa flagged down a cop car minutes later, babbling her story, hands trembling as she held Tommy close, his tears soaking her shirt. The officer searched but found no truck, just tire marks and a discarded mask 2 trees old, weathered, linked to unsolved abduction. Lisa moved after that, avoids night drives, and warns some roads have hunters, not just drivers. Our third story wraps this up with a bang, or rather, a whisper that lingers from a guy named Marcus, who emailed me this spring about a cross-country trip gone wrong in the Midwest flatlands. Back in 2019, Marcus was relocating from Chicago to Denver for a new job, packing his life into a rented U-Haul. The trailer rattling behind his pickup as he hit I-80 at dusk. He planned to drive through the night, fueled by energy drinks that tasted like chemical fizz, and the truck stopped coffee bitter as regret. Behind was endless cornfields below, storms whispering in the wind. The sky, a vast dome of stars unpolluted by city lights. Around 1 a.m., fatigue nipping at his edges, he tuned into a late-night talk show caller sharing ghost stories. Ironically enough, voices crackling through speakers. Then, static burst in, overriding the signal, replaced by a child's voice singing a nursery rhyme. Ring around the rosy. Faint but clear, looping. Marcus fiddled with the dial, thinking interference, but it persisted across stations. Uneasy, he glanced at his GPS still en route. No towns for miles. That's when his headlights dimmed briefly, engine stuttering like it hit bad gas, and ahead, fog rolled in unnatural, thick as soup despite the clear night. He slowed, high beams struggling to penetrate, the air inside cab growing stuffy, scented with ozone, like after lightning. Shapes loomed in the mist, first vague, then sharper figures on the roadside, standing still, dressed in outdated clothes, faces turned away. Marcus's pulse quickened, he honked, but they didn't flinch. As he passed one, it turned a man, eyes milky white, mouth open in a silent scream. What the hell? Marcus gasped, accelerating, but the fog thickened, engine coughing again. More figures appeared, dozens now, lining both sides like a gauntlet, some reaching out with pale hands that brushed his windows, leaving smears. The radio voice changed, pocket full of posies low. Louder, joined by others, a chorus echoing outside too. Panic surged, Marcus swerved, trailer fishtailing, as a child darted into the road smoke, like a pinafore, hair in braids. He braked hard, tires screeching, heart in throat, but impact never came. She vanished like vapor. Shaking, he pulled over, flashlight in hand, stepping out into the chill fog that clung like wet cloth. Anyone there? He called, voice swallowed. Footsteps answered, soft patters circling the truck. He shone the beam empty, but whispers now, names his name. Marcus. Ashes, ashes. How did they know? Terror gripped him. He dove back in, locking doors, gunning the engine. It roared to life, fog parting as he sped, figures fading in mirrors, but one clung a handprint on the glass, small and perfect. He drove non-stop to a motel, collapsing in a room that smelled of stale smoke, nightmares replaying the chorus. Research later revealed a plague outbreak in 1850s Iowa. Mass graves along that stretch, victims buried in fog-shrouded fields. Marcus believes he drove through an echo, a loop of the dead. He settled in Denver, but avoids interstates at night, haunted by that song humming in his head. These stories, folks, prove the road at night holds secrets drive safe. And if you hear something off, maybe don't listen too close. Share your own below. Who knows what will unfold next?